What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the We Want Florida podcast. I'm Nathan Bray here with Joe Damer and Austin Wiseman. Lots of big moves all around the league, especially with the Florida Panthers, but we're going to save that for another episode. We are going to go to some transactions that have already happened, some guys who are still on the free agent market all around the league, and just kind of give you some thoughts on that. So for you guys, obviously signing Ekblad, Marchand back. Was that the biggest surprise for you guys? Anything outside of the Panthers that really caught your attention?
I'd say it's like the biggest story of the day for sure. Either that or the Mitch Marner move. Those are probably the three of the top five players on the market, and all getting their deals done. And probably one of the other players getting top five in the market. Sam Bennett got his deal done a few days ago. So looks like free agency. We're getting most of the guys already out of the way. So we'll see what tomorrow comes with. Not a lot of the top guys left. But what a job by Bill Zito, and we'll get into it in the next episode for sure. But a good day for our guys, Florida Panthers, and for the Vegas Golden Knights getting a good player like Marner.
Yeah, I mean, um, you know, not to be biased or anything, but I feel like we've definitely made like the most noise so far in the offseason. And it was just re-signing players. It's not even like we signed anybody. But yeah, once again, all credit in the world to Bill Zito. I mean, he's the man, he did his job. Yeah, Marner, um, great move by the Golden Knights. I mean, they're already a competitive team and now they're just gonna get that much better.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and go to Canada. Let's get the Canadian teams out of the way first. Um, Toronto Maple Leafs, obviously, Mitch Marner, sign and trade uh, to Vegas, 8 years, $12 million. So I just want to start. Did you guys think that this was overpay, underpay, properly paid? How do you feel about it?
Well, um, as far as Toronto's concerned, I do think this was the right move for them. Something seemed to have not been working there with the core four. And I know there's a lot of core four jokes going on and whatever, but obviously they are all seriously, really good players. Do I think 12 million was an overpay? No, I don't think so. I mean, it's Mitch Marner. He's a good player. Just because, we're Panthers podcast and we're staring at Panther contracts all day, it doesn't mean, that's the norm for the league. I mean, we saw Bouchard today, but we'll get into that. But no, I think it was a good move for both sides.
Yeah, I think what Joe said, good move for them. I think it was a good move for the Maple Leafs to let him go. But the thing they did is they got value. They got a player back for a free agent. Getting a sign and trade done before July 1st was a great move by the Maple Leafs. They get a depth guy in Nicholas Waugh from the Golden Knights, and yeah. So look, this core four, they couldn't run it back, couldn't do it again. It was time to move off of it. So I think so far the Leafs have had a good couple days here, getting some depth guys, re-signing Tavares, getting Nyes on a 6-year deal maybe a deal that he could have got more money on. So far so good for Toronto.
Yeah, so they lose one of the core four and Mitch Marner, but a guy like Matthew Nyes might be able to step up and maybe not play the role Mitch Marner played, but definitely play a substantial role in this team. So Tavares was the first of the signing, 4 years, 4.3 million a year. I was actually really surprised by this move, and maybe it was just John Tavares taking a little bit of a friendly move to keep Matthew Nyes around. That I don't know what the thought was behind that, but did you guys expect it to be 4.3? Because I know I didn't, but maybe you guys saw something that I didn't.
Yeah, it was definitely a little undervalued of what John Tavares can get, but look, he's a veteran player who wants to stay in his hometown of Toronto. He was the captain until they gave it to Matthews, so he means a lot to that franchise. So I think they probably discussed, hey, let's take a little bit off of it. Give me a good term, 4 years. get to finish out my career where I want to be and help us win. So I think, it was one of those team friendly deals. We've seen it from the Panthers a bunch of times. So good for the Maple Leafs to get that done.
Yeah, I feel like everything with the Maple Leafs this offseason's really been a win-win situation. I think it was a win for um Tavares because he gets to stay on the team he wants to. Obviously, he wants to be there. I mean, he showed it. He wants to be there. And he's looked upon from the fans differently. He the fans want to see him, succeed. Uh, I mean, he took a discount. I mean, that's huge to a fan base. But as far as the front office goes, that's a big move because if you're comparing one of the members or whatever you want to call it of the core four to the other, if you knew that Tavares was going to do that and you were going to have as much flexibility as they do now, it was absolutely the right move to sign Tavares over Marner, who would possibly want even more if he was staying with the Maple Leafs. And
Yep.
obviously, you're not going to sign both. So, yeah, I think it was a great move.
One more
Yeah,
thing on Marner. It's a win for him, I think, to get a change of scenery, to get out of Toronto, even though it's a great place to play and all that. But we saw how he was playing in the playoffs, and it seemed it was getting mental more than just making physical plays with his talent. And so I think we're about to see a Mitch Marner in Vegas with, a guy like Eichel and a new team, a new situation. So I'm expecting a big year from him. But I don't really, it's not even just the regular season because we know what he could do. If he gets into the playoffs this year, it's going to be really interesting to see what he could do.
yeah, like you said, mental and the pressure and the hype around those guys in Toronto, and they just weren't getting the job done. So I, I think it's probably a sigh of relief almost for Mitch Marner, and it's still a pretty good payday. So why not? And we just got to mention former Florida Panther Steven Lorentz signed,
Guy.
staying in Toronto. Um, 3 years, little over 1.3, I think. So
Yeah.
that's I guess we're happy for him,
Shout
Panther
out
guy.
Stevie Boy. Shout
Yeah,
out
good.
Stevie Boy.
It was a good deal by the Leafs to get a fourth line player, and we saw what he brought to our team. So he's a good player. Good move.
Yeah, to just over 1 million. I mean, uh,
Right. 3
yeah,
years.
Toronto, good, pretty good signing. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess
Mm-hmm.
Good
we're
start to
get
the offseason for them for sure.
yeah, can't believe we're giving credit to them, but
Hey, we
hey,
got to be
we're gonna
unbiased.
keep it. Yeah, we're gonna keep it 100. We're gonna give the credit where we see it's due. So, yeah, Toronto, good start. We'll see if they add anybody or what other moves they have in store. Um, while we're up there, let's just shift over Edmonton. So we already mentioned his name. Great defenseman, one of the top in the league. Evan Bouchard, 4-year deal, 10.5 million. I I don't know. I like it. I don't love it, but I do like it. I would have thought maybe little longer. I don't know. What's your take on that?
It's yeah, like you said, you don't love it, you don't hate it. It's just a deal that they had to get done, and that's just what the value was, and that's the amount of years that they could give based on whatever is going on with their salary stuff. So yeah, it's just a move they have to get done. They have to extend a guy like Bouchard, one of the best scoring defensemen in the league. I mean, we saw every game in the Stanley Cup, he was just pounding the puck to the net. He's got just one of the a really good one timer. He affects that power play. Um, so it's just yeah, it's a deal they had to get done. 10.5, as a Panthers fan, that's not something we've seen from our defensemen, but obviously we don't have a scoring level defenseman like Evan Bouchard, so it is what it is.
Now, I like I said, 4 years. They did sign Trent Frederick for 8 years, so
Yeah.
I don't know. It really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But go ahead, Joe.
As far as the Oilers go, it's a great job, you got your guy, and everybody knows it's no secret that if they don't sign McDavid, this is the window, the last year. So I don't care if you sign him to an 8 for 1 year contract. If you don't sign McDavid, this is it. So, you know, essentially, play it out like this is your last year, I think. But as far as Bouchard goes, as far as the contract, it's confusing. You don't, as a observer, you don't really know what to do. It's like 10.5. It's like, yeah, it's a lot, but it's Bouchard. So, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, it's a terrible deal because we just got Aaron Ekblad for whatever, so and so. No, I'm not gonna do that. I think it was necessary, like Austin said. They had to do it. It had to be done. Yeah, everything he said was spot on. Like, yeah, in the playoffs when we saw he had freaking 8 shots on goal, 7 shots on goal every game. Like he's a playmaker, man, and he's a huge part of that team and why they succeed.
And this makes them. I had said it, to you guys when it first came out. It makes them so top heavy on their big guys. Leon Draisaitl with such a big contract, Bouchard with such a big contract. If McDavid, obviously he's on contract this year for whatever 12 and a half, and if he comes back next year and they do re-sign him, they're just so top heavy, and it just doesn't give them the availability to match the depth that other teams have.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for them because we know their problems ever since they've had Connor McDavid every year in the playoffs. It's just they get there and it's McDavid and Draisaitl and even now Bouchard being those great players, and it's the goaltending and it's the depth that's just not put them across the finish line. So it's look, they're so close, but it's really unfortunate that that's how it is for them. Like you have these great players, you have to sign them to big money, and now you don't have money. They still have to figure out the goaltending situation. We'll get into John Gibson, but that's a guy that they should have targeted, in my opinion, and they didn't get him. So,
and we saw Evander Kane also traded, so they lose that type of guy. So I don't know. I think
regarding that, I think that was a good move by them to shed that contract of Evander Kane. Just wasn't really cutting it at the end of the year.
I think they wanted a change out of there. They saw kind of what happened at the last game and kind of how the emotions were flying everywhere. And it was like, you got to think to yourself, especially when you go back to game 3. They put themselves out of that game because of the emotions, and the Panthers were just stoic, and that's, I mean, that's part of the reason why we won the series. I mean, that's a whole game. But yeah, I mean, as far as, we love to, I love to joke around, especially if, when we win. But as far as, the contracts go, yeah, man, it's let alone, the Darnell Nurse, that one's bad. But this looks like the new core 4. And I know that the memes on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it have been going crazy. Biz has been going crazy. He's
losing his mind up there.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Especially with this Nurse contract and McDavid, they got to figure something out, man.
So up past the northern border, Toronto, Edmonton. So far, who's had the better offseason?
Hands down, Toronto.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's early, right? Free agency hasn't started yet. It's starting tomorrow, but like Toronto, and it's funny because they were the team that lost the best player here. And Edmonton, they traded Vander Kane, but we don't know who they're gonna lose just yet. But I think Toronto, like we said, they had to move on from Marner, but the contracts that they made were good. And like the Trent Frederick contract, like 8 years for a depth player, like
it's a lot.
It's not the right move in my opinion. He's a good player,
and almost $4 million. Like, that's tough.
Yeah, like we said, man, Toronto's just had these contracts with Tavares and Nyes have been just fantastic. They've been doing a job.
Not like discrediting Edmonton, but more just giving credit to the Leafs for what they've done. I agree. So,
yeah,
that's where we believe it.
So let's come United States. Let's come get out of Canada, and let's go to New York.
Thank God.
Yeah, let's go to the Islanders. We saw Noah Dobson traded to Montreal. Montreal's a sleeper. I mean, not really a sleeper, but they've definitely are going to be a team to watch out for, in my opinion. A couple first round picks, and we'll get into the draft. But I didn't realize Noah Dobson was that highly paid. I, I, I don't know that to me 9.5 or whatever it was. That's a big deal. I mean, when you look
Yeah.
at that, you go to Evan Bouchard and say, "Oh, 10.5 isn't so bad after all." But good move by the Islanders. Probably not. I don't know. That one is tough for me. But when you go to Alexander Romanov, who they just signed 8 years to 6.25, I think that's a great move. Younger defenseman. Um, yeah, maybe a little expensive, but they have this team has gotten significantly younger in the last couple of years. And I think just to keep him around, not a huge name, but again, I think he can develop into something. So I think that's a good move by the Islanders.
Yeah. So regarding the Montreal and Islanders trade for Noah Dobson, and I like it from both sides. And yeah, it's a little bit of an overpay, but I love when a team makes a splash, like Montreal Canadiens right here, going to get a proven player to be their number one defenseman. I love it a lot. I mean, look, they're a young team who's they're ready to roll. Look, they had a season making the playoffs. No one expected that. They've been rebuilding for years, and like you said, I think that's a team that it's going to be sneaky next year. They swept the Panthers in the regular season this year. Like that's something, right? So going
I
to
I,
yeah.
I think that the both teams when we saw what the Islanders maybe got out of those first round picks, obviously they haven't
Mhm.
gotten any NHL time. Like I think it benefits the Islanders in a way that they can keep getting younger because
Yeah.
for me, that's been one of their biggest problems. They've been old, they've been slow, and we see Matt Martin just retired a week or so ago. So they're getting younger, getting faster. I think that's what the Islanders need. I
Yeah, exactly. So look, you got two teams are going in different directions. The Canadians, it's time to go. It's time to compete. And the Islanders, we're in a little bit of a rebuild here. They have the number one pick. They get Matthew Schaefer, a 17-year-old defenseman, who they hope one day will step right in there and be their number one guy. They trade for the 16th and 17th overall pick. So yeah, exactly. They're getting younger. They were an old team. They're in a rebuild. We're not expecting playoffs from them. And Montreal, like I said, it's time to go. Go out and get a good player like Dobson, even if you have to pay a little bit extra. I love a move like that from them. And then regarding Romanov extension, um, yeah, just a move the Islanders, good for them.
so that's going to be my underdog for the playoffs. That's going to be I'm going to say the Islanders. Islanders get in the playoffs next year.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Canadians.
Oh, I think the Canadians are an easy,
Yeah,
but
I'm totally riding the Canadian train next year. Let me tell you. Oh, hold on. Let's not take that out of context now. But them specifically, man. I think they're yeah, like you guys said, good to go, man. Good, clear for takeoff. Yeah, they got a lot of talent on that team, man. Especially after the season. Oh my God, I'm blanking. Lane Hudson had yes. I don't know how I blanked on that. He's on
How
my.
about Hudson and Dobson together,
Yeah,
huh?
that's what I was
yeah,
gonna get into. But yeah, that's gonna be really good. Yeah, great move, great move.
yeah, and I
I'm,
again,
yeah, I'm sure later in the offseason we'll get into those like season prediction thoughts, but real quick, Islanders aren't making the playoffs. Let's come on.
It's like the
uh,
little bit of bias in his heart that he has.
I do have a little bit of bias there, and I don't know.
I understand it. I get it.
It
Schaefer's not even gonna play this year, so
they're young, they're rebuilding. They weren't that far off. Like, uh,
they're always around 500. Not
Yeah,
around 500,
yeah,
but around like borderline playoff team.
yeah, they're
right.
close, and
Have a
you
good
have
goaltender.
Sorokin. Maybe we get or they get Varlamov back healthy just to maybe split a little time. I mean, I don't know. That's going to be my long shot to make the playoffs. I think they'll be close.
It's a respectable long shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's not
It's not like
like
completely off the
left
board.
field.
Yeah, I know.
It's Colorado. We saw them trade Charlie Coyle uh, to Columbus. We've seen Columbus make a few moves. Panthers are involved in one of the goaltending moves. So thoughts on that trade? Winner, loser, equal?
Well, I think the moral of the story is the Avalanche had a cap problem. Trade everybody. Get rid of them all. See
Big cap
you
problem.
later. See you later. Are they going to make a splash? I know everybody in the world has seen the rumors on Sidney Crosby.
Forget it.
Um, would that be wise of them? Probably not. Um, do they feel like they have the team to go all the way next year? Because, that's you're selling out again. That's we'll see how that happens. But you know, I would say winner for the Avalanche. And not even considering the other team. I'm just saying a win for them is just clearing out cap space. I mean, you got more flexibility now. What you do with that flexibility is, that's another battle. But as of right now, great job.
Yeah, so I mean, not a big. I, I'm not a big Charlie Coyle guy. Never have been. I just like. I think Avalanche wins that trade for sure, just because, like you said, they clear out the cap space and Sidney Crosby. Forget it. I don't see that happening in this world. Um. So yeah, I think
Somebody save that
Avalanche win
clip.
that trade. Yeah. Edit it out, right? So another former Florida Panther, we saw uh, the Red Wings make a little bit of a move. Vladimir Tarasenko on the Stanley Cup winning team.
I I thought you were going Patrick Kane. I was like, wait, what? He was a Panther? I
No,
was like, what?
no, Vladdy.
Oh,
Minnesota. I think Minnesota, another team, really good. They have a guy like Kaprizov that's arguably one of the best forwards in the game right now. And we saw him, he was hurt for a lot of the season. I know because he was on my fantasy team.
come on, bro. You still won. Shut up.
Yeah, I still won, but yeah, he's really good. So I think Tarasenko to Minnesota, add that veteran player. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, huge fan of Vladimir Tarasenko. Always have been, even before he was a Panther. I was hoping, scrolling on Twitter, we'd trade for him when we did and got that done. He was a Stanley Cup champion for us. So yeah, good move. Minnesota getting a guy that knows how to score goals and knows how to win. He's a veteran. He scored a lot of clutch goals in his career. He's a great guy in the locker room from what I've seen. And for the Red Wings, I think, look, he didn't really have a great year for them last year. I think he dealt with some stuff. So I think it was a time to move on from him. The Wild get him, and yeah, so good move all around.
Plays the game the right way, baby.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
I like him. Veteran guy. Good move for Minnesota. Another Florida Panther who didn't get a whole lot of playing time. He wasn't didn't play many games for us, but Claude Giroux and
Oof.
in Ottawa. Um, just a 1 year deal. Not much to go over there. Just wanted to throw him out there, Florida Panther. So why not give him a little?
Another guy just like Tarasenko, who when we got him, just another very happy time. Get a player like when the Panthers get a player that's been a star, veteran now. It's pretty cool, and then he goes back to Ottawa after the Panthers. It didn't work out like the Tarasenko and Marchand ones did, but um, yeah. So good move
Just
by
a
Ottawa
just
to bring him
just a
back home,
veteran.
and yeah, veteran 1 year deal, little team friendly once again.
Good deal. And then we saw Jamie Benn extend in Dallas on a 1 year deal. I think that's Dallas made some moves that I didn't think were even possible, to be honest with you. And I think that's really big part, captain of the team,
Yep.
$1 million.
Another very similar move to Giroux. Just small deal, come back to where you want to play. He's the captain of that team. He's been there for a while, and he's a third liner guy now, not a first line guy anymore. So just the right move.
Yeah, I know Joe's probably got a lot of things going on through his mind right now about Dallas and some previous things that I've said. So you got anything to go there?
Well, I won't, completely put you on blast on this podcast that we, host with mutual understanding. However, yeah, no, Dallas will be back with full force and looking good with a full season of Rantanen and Heiskanen. So yeah, I like Dallas.
I'll just say that I didn't see what I didn't see the vision of Dallas. I thought they had an identity problem, and I thought they were going to go nowhere.
Oh, give
But
Duchesne some love too. Yeah,
yeah,
Duchesne's back too.
Duchesne's back, Ben
Yeah,
back. So we saw some deals there that I just didn't see possible, and I think they'll be pretty good.
yeah.
They surprised me a little bit. So it was mentioned when we were talking about Edmonton. Let's go to the Gibson trade. Gibson, couple picks, and you said you thought Austin. You said that Edmonton should have went after them. So just a disappointment from Edmonton. Good move for these teams. Just kind of walk me through that trade.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think John Gibson's all of that. Like, I think he's pretty mid goal, like just a mid starting goaltender in the league, but he's a veteran. He's better. I think he'd be an upgrade from Stuart Skinner. So I thought Edmonton, hey, not a lot of options, right? So why don't we get a guy that we can count on a little bit more than a guy like Skinner? And I thought even maybe at the deadline they could have got him, but I don't know. I guess we're gonna make it about Edmonton here, but like right, the Red Wings, right?
Mrazek,
So
yeah, Mrazek to Anaheim.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah, and then Kuzmenko, we saw him sign the 1 year deal in LA, 4.3 million. Again, just I'm actually didn't realize, but now that I'm going through them, lots of just small deals going around as well. LA, I think, is going to be, they've got some space to work with. So I really think they're going to be another team that's going to continue to build.
right.
And then another one, Patrick Kane, 1 year deal, 3 million. I think there's some possible bonuses mixed in there. So out of these few 1 year deals that we saw, Claude Giroux, Jamie Benn, Kuzmenko, and Kane, what's the best one? Who's the winner here?
I don't often ride, right? The All right, bro, here we go. This guy, I can't say nothing on this podcast. Nothing. But yeah. I think the Ben one was the best. And I've had my words about Ben, and I thought they were gonna have to move on from him. But man, when
You
that
were
deal,
harsh. You were harsh
I
on
was
Ben.
harsh on him. Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
But when that deal came through, I went, hold on a minute. Let's back up for a second. Did this guy just really do this for the team? All right, he's the captain. All right, welcome back. Here we go. And yeah, I think that was the best one.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of just like 1 year, like right, small term or small term, 1 year. So, but like not a lot of money, right? So Ben taking a $1.5 million contract, I would say it's pretty cool. Drew taking 2.5 just to stay. Like obviously, but Patrick Kane, staying in Detroit, I thought I feel like at the end of his career, you'd think, hey, let's go somewhere else. Let's try to win here. Detroit struggled a lot recently. So I think Detroit getting him back, he still could score a goal like no other. He's still got best, not like no other, but he's got really good hands. He's still a good player. He had a decent year last year, so
Uh, I'm with Joe. I think that Jamie Benn is the best contract there, and
yeah.
for the best team, the best reasons. So those are the deals that have been done, at least the big ones. Obviously, lots of small little ones floating around, but free agency tomorrow. Like we said, a lot of the big guys are pretty much gone, but there's still a few that are floating around, and let's start in Winnipeg. Nikolai Ehlers, he had a 6 million previous contract, so I'll ask the question: where do you think he's going? and how much do you think he gets?
Um, man, I haven't even honestly thought
Put
about
much
it.
thought into that?
Yeah, but I know that, for some reason Utah seems to be in every conversation ever.
So
So,
Utah's really young, and
yeah,
Utah's building a team. Like we
yeah.
saw a JJ Petreka trade.
Which,
Like,
by the way, I mean, the Sabres are literally like Black Friday. It's unbelievable. It's
oh,
ridiculous. I don't understand how this keeps happening. When will they learn? I saw the graphic the other day, like of how many players are just like not there anymore. Like it's
Yeah, I
unbelievable.
mean, hey, we've been Florida Panthers like
We built
trading with
half a
them,
team
right?
off of it. Like
Sam Reinhart, Brandon Montour.
it's crazy. And then you got players like Ike, whatever. It's just gonna turn into a Sabres rant, and it's not that. But no, yeah, Utah's building something special, but or trying to. I don't know why, But yeah, I mean that'd be cool for them to sign it, but I haven't even really thought about it.
so I put a little bit of thought into it. I think he's going to get more. He was a 60 plus point player. I think he's a pretty good guy, and I like Carolina for him. They have some space available. Uh, I just feel like it's a good fit. They're probably obviously they need some help on the defensive side, but I like Ellers going to Carolina.
Yeah, I don't really know what kind of money he's worth, like what he's gonna get, and like you don't know these days with anyone, right? It feels like I was so wrong on, or not so wrong, but like the Marchand one was a complete surprise, like stuff like that. So you never know, like who expected Brad to get 6 years, but
Mm.
Ehlers, um, yeah. So it looks like he's not going back to Winnipeg, and I was gonna say Carolina as well to get a guy that can score a goal, is a proven player. Also look out at the LA Kings as a team that can get him as well. So I'll throw LA just
Yeah,
to be
LA
different from
LA
you.
would make a lot of sense, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Boser, um, who was just over 6.5 million previously. Good player. I don't think he's worth 6.5. Maybe he will be somewhere. I think he goes for less. That's just a personal thought, or around the same. I don't think it's going to be much more. And I'm going to say maybe Boston. I don't know how
Okay.
much
Yeah.
space they have. But I think they have a little. So yeah, I'll say Boston.
Oh yeah, that Morgan Geeky happened today too. That was a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bester's a pretty good player. Like in Vancouver, I mean, they have some tough times this year, but when he's on the ice, he's a quality player. Like a second line type guy, maybe first. Um, Boston, I feel like is heading in a different direction. Um, so yeah, he's also a guy I could see in Carolina. Just like get another guy that could score a goal, just proven top six forward. So I'll switch that one to I'll go Besser to Carolina.
Carolina's
Okay.
got a defense problem, man.
Yeah, so let's go there real fast. We have Burns, who was on an $8 million contract, and it seems like obviously he's 40 or 41 now. He's getting
Yeah.
up there. So I think definitely we see a pay cut from him,
Yeah.
and I think that he might stay. I mean, I think he probably wants to be in Carolina. Carolina has a chance to compete. Um, so yeah, that's where I'll go there.
Yeah, as far as, defense goes, like I don't even know like what they ended like last season. Like I don't know how their feelings ended. I know that like one of the games they felt like they wanted to burn Orlov's jersey, but like I don't know if that's still the feeling. Um they need help defensively for sure. I mean, I could even see like for sure like them going out and getting our boy Nate Schmidt.
That'd be great.
Um
That'd be a great
Wow.
move.
Yeah, I could see that. I think that would be a great move for them. But yeah, I think as far as, they do need forwards for sure, but I think if I'm, sitting, right, I'm looking and evaluating the team and Orlov and Burns are up, it's like you either gotta, it's just like the defense really needs help, guys. And, Make a move. I think Schmidt would be a good move, but
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
I mean,
possibility.
yeah, under Rod Brendamore's system, they've always been a strong, like defensive, low scoring team, right? But with Orlov and Burns, I think it's time to move on from those guys. Like they're getting old. They struggled. Like Orlov was that one
That was atrocious.
game 3 against the Panthers that was rough, right? He got scratched in game 4.
oh
So
man.
like, yeah, I think that's a really good call, Joe. I think Nate Schmidt's a guy they should target.
Didn't
Someone
even think about that.
like a third line or a third pairing defenseman like Nate Schmidt. Replace Orlov, give him a little maybe 2-year deal worth 3.5, 3 million. You know, they got to repair their bottom defense. Obviously, they still have Slavins, who's a stud. They have Jalen Chatfield, who missed the Panthers series, so he's guys going to come back and be good for them. So yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I like Orlov to LA. LA's got some space. You guys mentioned some other guys, but I think that's a good possibility. They have one of their defensemen or a few defensemen up one. So yeah, maybe we see Orlov go there to replace it. And probably the last big name is Grenlin. He was on a $5 million contract, and I don't know. Like I don't know where he really fits. I don't think he fits on Carolina. I don't think he fits on LA. But any thoughts there?
Maybe he's Utah's man.
Everybody's Utah's man.
bro. I think Utah gets somebody. They have. I mean, they
Yeah,
don't
they
have
will.
to, but I think they get somebody, and he might be the guy for them. I don't know, man.
Regarding Orlov,
No,
No,
Grenlin.
Granlund, yeah, Granlund. Looks like he can't go back to the Stars. They don't have the space for it. It seems like. I'm gonna throw out. I think the Nashville Predators go and get him. They're always an aggressive team, so
That was the biggest disappointment last year.
yeah, they're gonna
right.
be back. They're gonna be back though.
I don't know. I mean, like they had such a good offseason bringing in Stamkos and Marchessault, and just didn't have the year they wanted to have.
Wait, that's how
But
you say that?
Jonathan Marchessault.
Is
Yeah.
that how you say that? Oh my
yeah,
God, I've been
Yeah.
butchering that poor guy's name.
former Panther.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah. So will they bounce back? Nashville, Grant would be a good move, but I think if we're going to talk about Nashville here, they got to fix. UC Saros has been struggling a lot lately, so
Mhm.
if he can get back to the goaltender he once was, Nashville will be back. Obviously,
Yeah.
they have Roman Yossi, who's such a stud, guy like Forsberg, so they have talent.
Another team I think that's going to be a lookout for the playoffs. But yeah, those are really the 5 big names floating around. Free agency opens up tomorrow. We'll see.
Gonna be a day, man.
It's going to be a day. Going to be glued to the TV for a little bit. But
Glued to Twitter.
Yeah,
yeah,
did Klingberg did he sign anywhere? I can't remember. I know there was a bunch of Oilers drama, not drama, whatever. My God, news going on today. Did he get an extension or anything? I can't remember.
I don't think so yet.
I don't
No,
think
he
so.
did.
Yeah, I
He
think
didn't,
he's
right?
up tomorrow. Yeah,
Yeah.
he'll be up tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And next episode's going to be a recap of strictly the Panthers free agency offseason, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
Tomorrow's a
see
big
what they
day.
do with Sam Miskevich and what we do at 6D.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Gotta sign that backup goaltender, so should be interesting for sure.
We will see.
Great day though.
All right, that does it. Austin Wiseman, Joe Damer. I'm Nathan Bray. Let's go Cats.